What is going on? It is Nate the Game Guy coming back with another video at hand, and today I want to talk to you guys about why I collect my games in my game room with my game collection complete in box. Now, as you guys can tell, I am very passionate about the hobby, especially for some of my returning viewers. You guys already know that I really love this hobby. And of course, when it comes to adding games to my game collection, I want to make sure that a good majority of them are complete in box. Of course, there are some exceptions here and there that I may discuss briefly later on in this video, but of course, I'm going to give a little bit of some insight, background, and share a few of my reasons as to why I collect complete in box for my game collection. So, without further ado, let's go into some detail with some of my reasons, some of the insights and backgrounds as to why I collect as many games as possible complete in box right after the intro. Alright, so before I dive right into this video subject, I just want to give a quick moment and say, if you guys do find the video to be entertaining, enjoyable, informative, any of that good stuff, please do consider giving the video a like. It really does help me out. It helps boost the video up into the YouTube algorithm so more viewers such as you can find videos just like this. Of course, please do consider subscribing if you are tuning in for the first time, because I post a ton of content when it comes to game collecting tips, other video game related subjects. So if that is something that interests you guys, please do consider subscribing. But if you're going to subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell notification button so that way you will be notified when I upload a video just like this. Now, let me talk first a little bit of some background when it comes to collecting games complete in box with my collection. This may come as a shock to some of you, but believe it or not, I don't collect games complete in box just for the sake of the game being more valuable. In my opinion, that's just a plus. When it comes to my game collection, I don't collect games to say that I've got a $100,000 game room or I've got a $1 million game room. I don't keep track of how much my games are worth. I just don't. If the games were really, really cheap, and if the games were really, really more expensive, in my opinion, that really would not change my goals much. Except with the fact that, you know, if they're cheaper, I'll buy more. If they're more expensive, I'll buy less. But for the most part, I'm not buying these games for like investment or whatever. And when it comes to collecting complete in box, it's just that, you know, I don't care about the value. I just, you know, just buy games for the sake of being complete in box. And there are many different reasons why I do collect games complete in box, which I'll tell you right here. Alright, so one of the first reasons that comes to my mind as to why I like to collect my games complete in box is that I just think it looks cooler to look at games on a shelf, right? I mean, look at this. I just think it's just so cool that you get to see all the games facing right at you, right? Of course, you're looking at the spines, not the actual front of the games, but you know what I mean. You get to see the games facing in front of you. You get to see what you have, and it's very quick and convenient. Like, for example, if I want to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I know where it is on a shelf, and of course, if you're organizing it either alphabetically or by series or genre or whatever, you know where it is. And that's just one of the reasons as to why I like to collect games complete in box. Now, when it comes to collecting games loose, like for example, with original Xbox, if you decide to put the games into like a CD binder or like generic jewel cases or like disc slip sleeves or whatever, right? you can save money that way if, you just care about playing the game or whatever, right? That is an option that you can do. Me personally, I don't really like doing that, is just because I don't think it looks that cool. Me personally, I don't really like having my games organized in that fashion. But I will say, when it comes to collecting complete in box, that's just one of my reasons as to why I do so when it comes to collecting games for my game room. Now, the next reason that I want to discuss as to why I collect my games complete in box is that, in my opinion, it is the most authentic way to have games in your collection. For example, as I come right here, I've got my complete in-box copy of Sonic the Hedgehog for the Genesis. It's got the clamshell case. It's got the manuals inside. It's got the game inside. This is essentially a complete in-box copy of Sonic, right? And what I really like about collecting with its authenticity or whatever, right, is that I get to see what the game was like, how it was originally packaged when you were picking it up from a retail shelf. You get to see the contents of what the game came with. Maybe there's a game that came with a free trading card or a 48-hour trial for those that used to play a lot on the Xbox 360, right? So many of these games for this console did come with 48-hour trials, which a lot of people did appreciate back in the day, myself included. And to me, like I said, I just like seeing all the original contents. I get to see everything that would come with the game. And of course, if you're a collector, a lot of collectors will like it with the fact that it's more collectible. As mentioned from before, I don't collect complete in box for the value of the game. I just collect it for some of the numerous reasons that I'm discussing right here. But I'll just say right here is I feel that collecting complete in box is the most authentic way to collect games and adding them to my personal game room and game collection. So that is just another reason right here as to why I collect games complete in box. All right, now on the flip side of things, I will talk about some of my exceptions when it comes to collecting games complete in box. Now, as you guys can see right here, all my Super Nintendo games are loose. I don't have a single Super Nintendo game that is complete in box. And when it comes to a lot of cart-based consoles, especially on Nintendo consoles, such as Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, right, NES, all these games were in like these very flimsy cardboard boxes, right? And unfortunately, these cardboard boxes aren't really made well for long-term storage and durability. And it may come as a surprise to some of you, but believe it or not, I do enjoy playing a lot of the games in my collection. So not only do I collect games, but I also play them. Granted, I don't have any interest in playing every single game in my collection, but there is a good chunk of games I can truthfully say out of my collection I do enjoy playing. So for example, if I ever got a complete in-box copy of Star Fox, right, I would have to do is open up the box, move the tabs, get the card out. After I'm done, put the cart back in, put the tabs up, and put the box up the way it should be, like on a shelf. And unfortunately, when you are doing that with a lot of these cart-based consoles, unfortunately, the box is going to get some wear and tear over time. It's never going to be in mint condition. Sure, you can treat it as delicately as you possibly can, but when you are opening and closing the box, there will be creasing over time. And just for me, with how I like to collect games, and I also like to play them as well, it just does not make sense to collect some of these cart-based consoles complete in box. Even if collecting complete in box for Nintendo 64, and Super Nintendo were cheaper, I would still collect loose because of that specific reason. And truthfully, I don't think Nintendo made these boxes for these games to be basically put back in and then stored onto a shelf. I have a video right here that I recommend that you guys do check out, where I do go into some more detail as to some of my thoughts as to why I actually don't think that those boxes, those 64 games and Game Boy games and NES games from back in the day when they were put in those boxes, I don't think Nintendo had the intention of using those boxes as like your storage cases or for you to put your games back in once you're done playing. But when it comes to collecting games complete in box, those are some of my exceptions when it comes to collecting the games in my collection. And yeah, that's just some of my exceptions, like right there. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out my video. Please be sure to check out these videos here, here, and here. After all, I post a lot of content when it comes to game collecting tips, and other video game related subjects. So be sure to keep an eye out every Monday and Friday where I upload consistently, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.